All right. Thanks so much for doing this. My first question that I have for you is tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the art realm.
Sure. Hi. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's lovely to be here and to meet you. My name is Alexandra Nason, and I'm the project director here at Urban Artworks. We're a Seattle-based nonprofit specializing in public art, youth mentorship, and community building. Our mission is to engage youth, artists, and communities in the creation of public art that inspires connections and honors their voices.
Hmm.
Um, and I got started in the arts. It's been a long time. I was making art at a very young age. I was painting along with Bob Ross as a toddler, and I was always making art in class and getting, in trouble with my teachers for doodling and stuff. And I went to art school. And I had kind of a meandering path actually. I went to art school and I majored in visual communications, which was really interesting and useful, but wasn't, I think I was a little confused about what to do with that when I graduated. I actually went away from the arts for some time. I graduated in 2010 from college, which is which was right in the wake of the financial crisis at the time. And I just really didn't know exactly what to do and actually pivoted and tried my hand at finance for a very brief period of time and came back to the arts through an architecture firm, a well-respected architecture firm where I was doing some studio, like kind of making presentations and actually using visual communication skills, which was helpful. And then from there, got into art consulting, commercial art consulting, which I didn't even know was a field really. And I moved to Seattle for that role about 8 years ago now. And for nearly the past 4 years, I'm coming up on my 4 year anniversary here at Urban Artworks. Um, I got into public art and community driven art. Um, so here I am. You have to
Hmm.
excuse me. I think our phone is ringing.
Yeah. Um, so what do you do as a development director at Urban Artworks? Um, because I understand that you guys help folks like create art, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we do all kinds of art creation, youth mentorship, and community building. So Urban Artworks as an organization has two main pillars of operation, if you will. One is our programs team, and our programs team focuses on youth programs and youth mentorship. Our programs include several different offerings. We have our Mural Apprentice program, which is the core program that runs in through our studio here in SoDo, uh, Seattle. And that is a 8 week cohort that runs, I believe, 4 times a year. And the Mural Apprentice participants in the Mural Apprentice program then have the opportunity to move on to base crew after they graduate if they would like to continue in an art program and deepen their practice. This is all for youth ages 14 to 18. And the base crew students it's yeah, more kids looking to deepen their art practice, potentially gain or pursue professional skills in the arts, and just continue on that path of mentorship in the arts through our programs. We have also partnerships with surrounding schools doing individualized programs, and those can take different that takes different forms based on the school's needs and timeline, and also the ages of the students might range with those programs. And we have a whole programs team that could speak to a lot more of the nuances of the program side, but hopefully that gives a good overview. And I will say that we prioritize anyone facing barriers to the arts, education, or employment. That includes BIPOC, LGBTQIA plus, low income students or youth, though we open our doors to everyone. And through those programs, the youth have the opportunity to, like through MAP, for example, each program is different, but with the Mural Apprentice program, our core program, the students work alongside a teaching artist to actually work with their client. They have a client and they work with a teaching artist to vision and design a mural themselves over the course of this 8-week program. So not only they're building all different types of professional skills, learning how to ideate, design, manage, produce a mural, and some of the professional skills that go along with that. So it's really a cool opportunity. You know, they're having a voice in making that artwork themselves and working together and collaborating and installing beautiful art for clients around the city.
Mm.
Um, and then there's our projects team where I work on projects. So this might be a longer answer than you were expecting. But our projects team handles any commission mural or public art project, and that could include, it's typically or oftentimes someone reaching out for a mural, or some other type of art. It could be a poster or a banner or something, but it's usually a mural. We offer community building, so anything that's team building or community building, like volunteerism and volunteer around events. And we also host calls for art, like requests for qualifications or RFPs. So pretty much anything that's not a youth program is what our project team focuses on. And that's me and my colleague CM, who's our project's lead. And we work with a number of artists who we contract with throughout the city to help bring our projects to life. And what was I gonna say? We also in our work strive to connect BIPOC, LGBTQIA plus, anyone facing barriers to arts education or employment, as well as emerging artists, you know, people who might not, like that's something we keep in mind and hold dear to our hearts, is that we have the opportunity to help other artists take their careers a step further and take on new projects and learn new skills.
Yeah, because what I was gonna ask is how do you guys sort of help elevate new artists and like because help them gain new skills that could be useful like for other careers that they might pursue, not necessarily art, but like other careers.
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think the ways in which we serve artists varies. Like it's a pretty broad community, and we have a lot of different opportunities to engage. Um, the first thing that comes to mind is our artist roster, where we invite artists to submit their work, and no one is rejected from the artist roster. So if you submit to it, you're on it. And we reference that for incoming projects. We will reach out to artists on the artist roster if there's an opportunity that comes up we want to let them know about. Like maybe it's an event or a thing that's happening, or an opportunity comes through our door that doesn't actually make sense for us and we are passing it along. The artist roster would be the first to know about that. We'll also connect with artists on the artist roster to help with production or with painting. I would say primarily the skills that we're going to offer artists probably are art related. I mean, I think that there's certainly some more general skills around just, um, I'm trying to think. It's usually around, managing, or like could be like leading or managing an art project. And some of those skills are broadly applicable if it's like organization or preparation or putting together a proposal or how you might present yourself to a client. I think there's some skills we might touch on that are uh, apply beyond the art realm, but largely the types of opportunities or the skills we're building are art related. Like we might bring in artists to help with a project that is painting a mural, and we might help refine their technical skills, their approach to production, how they would, um, yeah, how they would actually just paint the mural, or, you know, and that could also include preparation of a job site or how you're going to interface with the client, how like invoicing, actually there's skills around really just like the process of like the cadence and process of payment contracts and kind of how to navigate that. I think that we do help artists with and are wanting, I would like to actually kind of build out more workshop resources for that type of learning as well.
Mm-hmm. My next question is, how does really art really impact the communities? What message does that send, do you think?
So many messages. How does art impact the communities? I'd say first and foremost, when people have the opportunity to make art, like to be a part of making the art, there's a connection to the place, there's a connection to a project, and there's a connection to each other. It's empowering, it can be cathartic, and I think very therapeutic. And also, it's just a way to build relationships. You meet people and you might talk to them for hours as you're painting, or maybe you don't want to talk and you just want to help build some art and you feel a deeper sense of connection to your neighborhood or place. So I think that on the with respect to being engaged in the art you're making, there's a lot of power there to connection to self, and connection to place. But also, like, what is the art? Sometimes we're not engaged in the making of the art and we just get to appreciate it. And I think art offers an opportunity for artists to share their voice and their vision, and it makes every place so much brighter and vibrant and thriving. I think people, at least in my experience, I'll speak to my experience. It's so special to go to a place that is filled with art and color and different ideas. And it's something I seek as a visitor. It's invigorating, it's inspiring, it's interesting, and it really reflects like a certain kind of like life energy and vibrancy in that place. So I think art has a way of making a place really really special and special to the people that are there and special to the people that visit. Yeah, aside from providing obviously a platform for artists to share their vision to share really important messages about whatever they feel passionate about sharing. And that could be social, cultural, political. Personally, I'm very passionate about mental health and artwork that might encourage others to feel seen or to know that they're not alone or to tap into their resilience and just, you know, um, messages around, I think, strengthening and improving mental health are really important to me. But there's so many different public art is a canvas for everyone to see, right? So,
Mhm.
and there's so many different, so much power that comes from public art, I
Yeah,
think.
because what I was gonna ask is what have you seen in terms of like how like what like with when artists come in to urban artworks and so you sort of see paintings about what like paintings that they care about that they see reflected in themselves. I'm curious to know like what have you seen in terms of like the artist's growth and like in terms of like creating art and see their talents on display.
Yeah, wow. I have to say, you ask such good questions. I do. I was listening to your podcast, I want to say with Dr. Malak, and I was just like, what good questions you ask. Like, I don't know how you do it, but I'm just gonna thank you for that. You asked about how do I see artists' growth, and I don't know
Yeah.
if you're also asking about the themes. Like I do see, I don't know if you asked about this, but I will say I do see like common themes around like identity, um, around around identity, cultural identity. Nature is a very common theme and like connecting to nature and the environment, of course. I see with artists, I mean, there's also so many others, I mean, so many themes, but I see artists pushing the envelope, like when you see pushing the art envelope conceptually, really using a lot of symbolism to consider narratives about the world or about, personal transformation, usually about change, growth. But the way I see artists growing. It's in a number of ways. I mean, a lot of times it's really just like confidence and believing that you can do art and that you are an artist. Like I think some artists don't even identify as an artist. And it's interesting the choice like those that say, I'm an artist, and people are like, I'm not an artist. And that's a mental leap you take, a different like way of relating to that identity. And also you see, of course, technical skills improve. Artists can do things faster. They can do things with cleaner lines. You learn how to layer color, how to layer backgrounds and details, and you see artists grow in their just like kind of how to approach something, but you also see growth in compositional, like there's certain compositions that look good and resonate, and there's some that just don't. And as you improve as an art, you can see the artists start to take into account the narrative of, I think, the narrative of a place or the design of a space, like the bigger picture things. They're really like considering these other elements that are important to more than just like the art, but it's like this integration of something that's a bigger experience really in the world, and like how does that story play in, and you'll see artists start to notice those other elements and to bring them up and bring them in, and maybe other people are like, oh, I didn't even think about that or something. There's a lot like woven together there. So I think conceptually and how you would approach a project, you'll see growth in that way too, and then like yeah, how they put compositions together.
Mm-hmm. My next question is what will you guys be doing at Urban Artworks? Like in the community, are there like things that you guys will be doing to in the Seattle area for folks that are curious?
Yes, I'm so glad you're asking. Okay, so we have a couple on the calendar, and we have a number of them that will be getting on our calendar. I do have folks asking for events, and I will share them as I know them. And they are coming up, but we don't have them all. We have projects definitely happening, but I don't have dates for them yet. So just like those will be coming out in the uh, next couple months. But what they will be, I'll start with the ones we know. We're working with the waterfront to celebrate the opening of Waterfront Park. We've been making jellyfish lanterns with as an activation. It's a really fun, it's actually out of our normal, it's obviously not a mural, but it's a really fun artistic activity where we invite participants to make art on these jellyfish. We're called lanterns because they light up with like a little light inside and you can carry them around. They have this tail or flowy streamers. And there's going to be a 5K at the waterfront on May 31st. So in just 8 days, very soon. And we will be there with several hundred jellyfish lanterns. We'll be there till we run out. But last times we ran out early. So if you're interested, get there early. And that'll be on May 31st. There's no sign up. It's just come as you are, and everyone's welcome. And then the following day, actually, we are supporting a community paint day at Lake Forest Park, their climate hub. It is a really fun space, actually. It's at Third Place Commons, and there's there's a cool what's the word? It's like a plaza of local businesses, like Red Sky Galleries in there, and
Mhm.
the I want to say owner, but I want to person who runs Red Sky, Debbie, designed the art for this mural. It's really cool, and along with Stacy, who's another community member. But anyway, they're in that community hub there. There's a bookstore, there's a food court, it's a sweet interior spot to paint. We didn't manage this project start to finish. We're really just there to help support the paint day event itself, but that's on the first. Our sign up is on, I believe it's on our link tree or on our social media and website. I believe it's almost filled up. I will check and actually see if it's on our link tree. It should be. Um, but it might be full, but I still welcome people to stop by and say hello, even if, there might be spot to paint, there might not be. Just kind of depends on how much wall space there is and how crowded it gets. So it's looking pretty full, but I would welcome people to come and say hi. And ways you can engage to get notified of upcoming events are to get on, if you're an artist, I highly encourage you to be part of our artist roster. Again, everyone is accepted, and also to sign up for our volunteer list, and that both of those are on our website and social media. Linktree on Instagram, we're at Urban Artworks, and our logo is a fist holding a paintbrush in teal and black. And So if you get on those lists, you will probably get a personal email from me. You might also get notified on our like through MailChimp or our newsletters as we do some updates and volunteer updates. We do have a project I'm really excited about that we're just getting underway is engaging with some of our base crew youth to design murals for some really big walls in South Lake Union that we're going to do several huge community paint days for later this summer. So we don't have those dates locked in yet, but that would just be such a great opportunity to engage the community and have people come out and paint and meet one another and beautify South Lake Union. And it's really cool because our youth are designing it. So just as a heads up, we've got that coming up. And along with a couple other paint days, we have a community event in Pinehurst that will be sometime in August, but we also don't have the date for that just yet. So I'm putting this on everyone's radar to stay tuned, sign up, and we will let you know as soon as we have a little more info.
Mm-hmm. And like lastly, to kind of wrap this up, how can really art in general like create meaning, create that sense of value and meaning like that can be, important, I guess, in people's lives.
I think this ties closely to I think you asked about like art and how it can impact a space. And
Uh-huh.
I think the answer is really closely related. Like I speaking from personal experience, like I struggled for a long time. I mean, I always struggled with anxiety and definitely mental health in college and some addiction stuff. And that was a really hard time. And I really fell away from my art and my artistic practice. And it took a while. I mean, it's been kind of a meandering journey to reconnect with my artistic practice. Again, I will say that when I started working at Urban Artworks, 4 years ago, like kind of like a light, all of a sudden I felt inspired to create again and I felt excited about it. And it's like a light went off and I was like, why am I not doing this? And it was a really good feeling. But what I'll say about that, less so about myself and more so about the power of like creative empowerment of like flipping that switch to feel like creatively alive and like you can do something and believing in yourself, but also like it doesn't really matter what you make. It's just like it's actually has nothing to do with what you make and it's separating from the product and actually just kind of engaging with the practice, like create engaging, like the willingness to engage with your creativity. And I think there's a lot of magic around that and people coming to life in a way that affects everything in your life. It affects everything, everything your life touches. It's like just a totally uh, different way to live, I think, is just a more vibrant and colorful way to live. And so I think art like is meaningful in I'm like now I'm forgetting your question. Um for me it's been more so about that is like that creative engagement and that kind of like healing power of art like how I think through art and through engaging with that creativity inside, like everyone is creative. I don't believe anyone's not. And people will say they're not, but that's not true. Everyone is creative. And if you're willing to engage with it and kind of honor like celebrate the engagement in and of itself, like that's the win. It's not what you make, then, and things start to shift, I think. And, oh my gosh, I have a thought and I forget what it was, but it's really, oh, I was saying the healing power of art. Like you can really overcome, I think, a lot of personal challenges or blocks through that. And so for me, there's a lot of meaning in art, but I also think that art itself was the question, I'll like remind me of the question because I
Just
feel like I'm,
how does art sort of create like let me rephrase it this way. How does the art create sort of a sense of purpose? Because you talked about how people
Mm.
go through, these sets of struggles and how kind of art acts as an escape, basically.
Yeah, I think art can be an escape, but it also is like a forum for connection. It's a forum for connection to yourself. Like for me, it has been at least like a forum for connection, but also through Urban Artworks, it's like, I mean, and again, I'll just speak for myself. My whole world is so much richer, is enriched so broadly by this amazing artist community. And like the deeper I go and the more people I meet and the more art we make together, the more inspired and just like honestly so grateful I feel. And that's just such a wonderful gift. But I think, um, yeah, a sense of purpose. I don't think, I mean, I also think for anyone out there, so there's the act of engaging, and then there's also, right, like what you make. And someone's art, you might see someone's art, and it might just be so inspiring. You know, a lot of people have so many important messages to share and things to say and stories to tell, and art helps tell those stories. And I think so it's part engagement, part community building, and that's really I see a lot of purpose in that, and also in engaging with art and seeing new messages and ideas and having that be something that helps inspire us to be better or to kind of consider the world maybe a little differently than we had before or to show up better or whatever it might do. I think art, that's very important.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty.